Let's talk about it. Man United 3, Bodø Glimt 2. The first victory of the Ruben Amorim era is off to a great start. But I can't lie, first half, I'll be real, I was very, very concerned at one point. Because, defensively, these guys were a shambles. Malacia, first game back in like 18 months. Mason Mount, first game back in 90 days. Anthony playing right wing back or like right midfield, however you want to call it. Bruno playing deeper. And United get the lead. I'm watching the goal right now. And it's great tenacity. It's great aggression from Hojlund. Garnacho there to follow it up. But for the most part in the first half, I think United were a little, they were a little concerning. And I look at Malacia as like, I don't want to scapegoat him here because like I said, he missed a lot of time in the last year and a half, 2 years. To the point that I almost forgot what he even looked like. We even forgot what he played like. And I think today was a really, really tough day at the office for him. Physically, the way he was skinned for that second goal, like the way that guy put the burners on him from Bodø Glimt, left him in the dust, is extremely concerning. But you can kind of chalk that up to rustiness. Oh, hopefully you can chalk it up, right? Rustiness, match fitness. You gotta hope that the more he plays and the more he's available, the more he can kind of get back up to the scratch with the overall tempo of the game. But even like technically on the ball in the system, I'll be real, I'm not too convinced he's got a long-term future at United if we're going to continue playing this way that Amorim wants to play. Because he's extremely one-footed. He gets on the ball. He wants to go down the line, but he doesn't really have like a great bag in terms of dribbling. He's not really going to like get past his opposition man. He doesn't have this extremely good cross of a ball. Like for me, Malacia at his best is a pit bull. He's a good left back. But in this system, I'll be real, chat, I don't really think, I don't really see a long-term future for him. Happy to be proven wrong, but and today in particular, I think he was a huge culprit for a lot of the good that Bodø Glimt kind of had, and I wasn't surprised whatsoever that he was taken off at halftime, and I applaud Amorim for making the decision quickly because it was very, very clear that Malacia was not up for it. But just in general, I think United defensively, I even looked for that second goal that Bodø Glimt scored. Where was Lisandro Martinez? Why was there so much space in between the center backs? Why was Ugarte? Like, it was just very, very open. But then credit to Rasmus Hojlund. He gets the second of the game. He gets his second of the game right before halftime. Expertly taken finish. But I think the real hero of that goal and of the game is somebody who I'm rapidly believing might be the best signing of the season. Mazraoui. Now, when we signed Mazraoui, I said I was a massive fan of the signing. Why? The fee, for me, was a bargain. And I'm being proven right there. £12 million for Mazraoui is an absolute bargain. It's an absolute steal. And I've said it once and I'll say it again. Man United need to make more signings like Mazraoui. Smart, tactically intelligent, technically secure, versatile, intelligent footballers. That's Mazraoui. If we had 11 Mazraouis, I'm not saying you put 11 fullbacks on the pitch, right? But you had 11 players of the mold of Mazraoui who aren't super flashy. They're not super athletic. They're not dribbling 60 players. They know their strengths though. They're very good on the ball. They're intelligent, which for me is the most important thing of anything. They can play in different positions. Man United would be an amazing football team if we had 11 Mazraouis. And for me, he's the best signing we've made since Bruno Fernandes. And I'm struggling to think in the Premier League this season how many signings have been much better than he's been. There's been some good ones, but he's right up there. And I thought he was the man of the match today. I think he's been the man of the match a few times for Man United today, this season, but today in particular, the line-splitting passes, winning the ball high up, combining with players, evading pressure like he did for Hojlund's goal. He wins it, expertly avoids the pressure, plays that ball into Hojlund. Hojlund takes it down exceptionally. And one thing from Hojlund I really liked from that goal is how quickly he gets it out of his feet. Because he controls it and it's like touch, bang. That's a snapshot right there. And it's something for me, there's no one better in the Premier League at those snapshot finishes than Mohamed Salah. I think he's the best at that. That from Hojlund is like a Salah-esque kind of finish. I'm not saying he's obviously as good as Salah, but that's the kind of finish I'd attribute to Mohamed Salah. And with Hojlund, today I actually thought was one of his better performances from United because I think he held up the ball well. I think he didn't really make it a wrestling match all the time. I think he did very well to get it, go, run into space. The finishing, for me, has never really been an issue with Hojlund. I'm more concerned about his movement and how many chances he really generates for himself. But give him credit today. 2 chances, finished both of them. Or wait, hold on. He had the first one. The first one is Garnacho's goal, excuse me. The second one is Hojlund's, and the third one, is Hojlund's. And the third one, I have to be honest with you, I thought would be offside. And on second and third look, maybe I'm looking at the wrong angle, but I thought it was offside. I think Hojlund got lucky there from the angle that I saw. But I want to talk about the move in the build-up to that goal. For me, the second half, I don't know what Amorim did to change it around. I have to watch it back. I have to kind of do some analysis. But something's changed in that second half. United basically kept Bodø Glimt out for most of the half. Bodø Glimt barely threatened until the very end where they started applying pressure. And United were combining well. They were creating well. They were linking up well. They had moves where they passed the ball 20, 25 times in a row before a chance. I haven't seen that in time at Manchester United. At one point, they had 75% possession of the game. And you guys might say, yeah, it's Bodø Glimt. You're supposed to have 75% possession. Not with United. not from what I've become accustomed to. This is news to me. I enjoyed it. I honestly really enjoyed that second half from United. And yeah, I get it. It's the Europa League. It's Bodø Glimt. We're going to play better teams. But I enjoyed the way we played in that second half. I thought we were positive. I thought the players had a much better grasp of the system than they did a few weeks ago, which is natural. They've had a few more training sessions under their belt. But I thought they combined well. I thought they kept the ball well. I thought they were positive. I thought they were direct. They created a lot of chances. And I could have ran away with that game. Let's be real. So I'm very, very happy with that performance. You guys are used to coming here for negativity. I'm not going to lie. You're not going to get much of it from today. Not from me. Mason Mount. I think that's another performance that we need to kind of shine a light on. I thought Mason Mount was really good today. For me, one of the best performances he's put in a Man United shirt. Granted, there haven't been that many. Today was one of the better ones. The flicks, again, the link up, the tenacity, carried the ball well. Amorim has said that Mason Mount is a guy that he's in love with. He says, I love that kid. And he's going to have two roles that he can play in this team. I see Mason Mount, as long as he can stay fit, having a huge part to play for Amorim. And especially in this United team, which me personally, I think has a severe lack of physicality, athleticism, runners. Mason Mount is one of those guys, when fit, that provides United with legs, with ball carrying, with energy. I think if he's fit, he has a role to play in this team. I thought Ugarte today played well. Ugarte today was good. Won the ball back well, played it simple. That's what you're going to get from Ugarte. Don't expect really the supernatural. Don't expect anything really above a 7 out of 10. Like, just a solid player. But today, I thought he did his job well. As long as he can put in those performances, you live with Ugarte. If I'm going to look a little more negatively, a few points of concern for me is the center back role. I've kind of looked at it this way, right? I think Mazraoui in these first two games has shown enough for me that if he's fit, he's playing in the right side of a 3. I think that role is his, personally. I think the left-hand side is between Lisandro Martinez and Luke Shaw. I think those two will contest for the left-hand side. I've seen people say Luke Shaw, maybe he's going to play on the left, on like the 5, he's going to play on the left. I don't think so. I think Luke Shaw plays as a left center back in this role. And I think he's proven in the past he's pretty good at it, right? Solid guy. He's physically well built, can defend to a decent level, can play through the lines. If he's fit, I think he's gonna compete against Lisandro Martinez. And I think centrally is between 3 players. And you guys might laugh, but hear me out. If Euro's fit and Euro is everything that he's built up to be, I would imagine Lenny Euro is going to start as a central center back. But if not, and United want to ease him in this season, they don't want to throw him into the deep end, I think it's between Maguire and De Ligt. And I have to be honest with you, off the basis of these 2 games and a 3 as the central center back, we have to see it. I think Maguire might be a little better suited to that role. Because here's the thing with a central center back. You have to be able to play those diagonals, long balls. You have to be able to. As a central center back, you got to be that guy that when he gets on the ball is looking for those long diagonals to your wingers. Your long ball into the center forward. Maybe even long balls to the wide guys. That's not really De Ligt's game. I think he played 1 or 2 today, but for the most part, De Ligt is not really a comfortable long passer. Now Maguire, I've always thought on the ball, in terms of his passing, is a little overrated by some people. I don't think he's really a great line splitter passer. In fact, I think he's a really good carrier of the ball, but like those ground line splitting passes isn't really what I attribute Maguire to. But one thing he does have a good kind of pass in his locker is that long ball, that floater out wide. I think Maguire does play that pass well, and I think he plays it better than Mathijs de Ligt. So if Euro is not available and it's between De Ligt and Maguire for that central center half role, I actually think Maguire might be a little bit better attributed to that role than De Ligt. Hot take. I think De Ligt on the ball at the moment looks heavy. He looks uncertain. One thing I've kind of been pointed out and noticed a little more about De Ligt, he doesn't really like passing left. He feels almost a little uncomfortable when he has to pass left. He much prefers keeping it swinging onto the right. Again, as a central center back, I think you have to be a little bit better in that role. Antony played on the right today, and Antony is a weird one. This is a guy that's clearly been on the outskirts of the Man United team for the last 12 months. And to take a saying from Mohamed Salah, Antony is more out in the Man United project than he is in. But if he is going to find himself back in the team and have any sort of future at the club, realistically, it's going to come out as a right wing back. Now, Ahmad and Antony shared minutes today at that position. In the first game, I think Man United played way too deep. And because of that, Ahmad was almost playing more as a right wing back than he was as like a right midfielder. He was picking up the ball in his own half. He was having to dribble the length of the pitch to even get in attacking positions. He didn't really get to affect the game that much from an offensive point of view. United's starting point was just way too deep. Today, I think United did a much better job of starting play from higher up, from winning the ball up high, and for allowing their attacking players to really play in the attacking third. And Antony had much more contribution in that final third, and Ahmad as well too, when he came on, got to play a lot higher up. And that's when you see the best of Ahmad. You guys know, I make it no secret. Ahmad for me is probably my favorite player on the team. I think he's bright, he's creative, he's technically brilliant. When I look at United's attacking options, I think he's arguably the best they have. So it was really frustrating for me to see him against Ipswich, basically playing as a right wing back. But today, you see United play so much higher up, and he gets the license to affect games in that final third. He can attack, he can go down the line. He's picking up the ball in dangerous areas. Me personally, I still maintain that I would rather see him as a central attacking midfielder playing right behind a striker. I still maintain that. But if he's going to play in that kind of wide role, it has to be in games like today where United are attacking, United have the ball, United are the guys who are kind of taking initiative in the game. We'll see what they do against Everton. I think that's a must win because they play Arsenal in midweek the next week at the Emirates. That's always going to be a difficult game. That's going to be a game where United are a massive underdog. You probably come away with a point and you're happy about that. So they have to get their first Premier League win against Everton. But today, I think, look, there were some shaky moments in the first half, but overall, there was more good than bad. And it's progress from the first game. I think the system, within 2 games already, you're starting to see it kind of take place. You're kind of starting to see it flourish. And you guys know me, I'm all about identity. I'm all about system first. For me, it's more important for Man United to get the system right and then add good players than try and create a system to benefit the players we already have. Get the system right, see who can survive in the system. Those who can't, out the door, go bring in better players. Within 2 games from Amorim, it hasn't been perfect and it's a work in progress. But I'm seeing good signs. And today, that second half is one of the first times I've genuinely left a performance from Man United actually happy and excited from what I watched. I haven't said that about United performance. FA Cup final, I did. I was really happy with how we played in the FA Cup final. But before that, it's been a long, long time. Garnacho. People are asking me to talk about Garnacho in the chat. Look, I've talked about Garnacho, man. His decision-making right now is really, really poor. I think that's the most concerning thing. Like, you guys know my opinions on Garnacho's technical and physical skill set. But I think the alarming thing right now for Garnacho is the decision-making. He's dribbling when he should pass. He's shooting when he should dribble. He's shooting when he should pass. I think Cam made a really good point about Garnacho, and I'm going to mirror it because I agree. Garnacho plays games like all he wants to do is score. Garnacho's only, it feels like his only focus when he plays is, how can I leave this game with a goal? And you guys know what I always say about GA, right? Like, GA is important. I get that, right? You need GA to win. Goals win games. But the focus for every single player on the pitch should be, how can I impact winning for my team? How can I help my team win? And yes, sometimes that comes in the form of a goal, but not all the time. You can play a great game and help your team win and not even impact the stat sheet whatsoever. And I think for Garnacho and for most young players, playing well should be more important than scoring goals. The goals will come with good performances, but if the good performance isn't there and you're just scamming goals and almost covering up bad performances with goals, what's going to happen when you don't grab the goal and your performance to boot isn't good enough? I think that's kind of where Garnacho is at this point right now. Like, someone needs to tell him. I'm not going to be the one to do it, right? Trust me, we've seen enough about fans talking to players and trying to give them advice. But someone at the club has to wrap an arm around Garnacho and say, bro, you're 20 years old. The goal, scoring a goal shouldn't be the be-all, end-all for you. Focus on your performances and helping your team play better. And from there, the system will flourish, the system will create chances, and you'll end up getting on the end of those chances. But at the moment, the way Garnacho is playing, for me, is a detriment to the team. I truly think so. I think Garnacho, there's something to work with there. I'm not one of these guys that thinks Garnacho's an utter scrub. But the way he's playing right now, I have to be honest, I'd rather see other players in those positions. I'd rather see Ahmad at 10. I'd rather see Bruno at 10. I'd rather see Mason Mount at 10. So that's my opinion on Garnacho right now. I've spoken about Garnacho in the past, but right now at this moment, his decision-making is massively off it. And I think it's really affecting his game. But yeah, that's me on Man United, man. Let's see what they do against Everton.